not that difficult to build a resume. Like it's just a photocopy which we have to present ourselves.
Hey guys, this is Shubham Raut from JSPM'S College of Engineering, SP&IR team, the digital team. I welcome you all to the YouTube channel of the digital team of RSCOE. And I am back with another episode of Crack It that is all about campus placements. Let's welcome our today's guest, Master Abhishek Barkul, who is a very dynamic, versatile, and has closely working with the training and placement cell as a student's executive for the last 2 years. It's from the mechanical department. Also, first of all, a very congratulations to you, Abhishek, for your selection in Accenture.
Thanks a lot, Shubham.
Yeah, so like let's now start with the questions. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, so the first question is, in which year did you start preparing for your interview?
So like a specific for placement preparation, I started it in the second sem of my third year. Like when all the stuffs come up to us. So from my second semester of my third year, I started preparing, but the other stuffs which are required, like what all skills and all those stuffs that I was been doing from my first year itself, just the basic preparation, like for some sort of coding or some sort of aptitude preparation, that all stuffs which are required to clear the test, that all I started in my second sem of my third year.
Okay, that's great. So now let's move further. I'm really curious to know that how you prepare for getting a job in an IT company.
So getting an offer from an IT company is not that difficult. Just we have to plan our things accordingly. Like we have our journey, like our college plans some sort of things that are executed during our placements. Our college follows. So like first 6 months, it's totally all IT companies will be coming for mechanical students, and then in remaining 6 months we get time to prepare well. Like we get a span of from third year itself. We can start preparing. Aptitude preparation is required, then some sort of pseudo course and all other stuffs that basic questions related to computers like MS Office and all those basic questions. So we get span of time enough span to prepare ourselves, and then for core also we get enough time to prepare. Like both are similar, just a different part in core and IT being is like in an IT company we get some sort of coding questions, whereas when it's core opportunity, there we need to have some sort of subjective core subjective questions. That's the different part about opportunities. Other all syllabus remains the same for the company.
Okay, so like that's great. And the next question will be like, what motivated you to get a job in IT?
Like there is some sort of interest, what we call as. So like we have to become aware about the technologies of what actually is the demand in the market and what actually technologies will be coming in when we'll be graduating, or when we'll be comfortable with working in an industry. So what technologies at that point of time will be in demand, like when you grab that technology you'll have a greater scope for your future. So that all thing, that awareness made me like I did not limit myself to any sort of technology. Like if I am doing a sort of thing in a core, like I would not go for an IT. So I did not limit myself. I went through, and what all came on my way, I got on to grab on those opportunities and excel myself.
Yeah, that's great. Also, like as you are from the mechanical department, so there is no
Yes.
IT background in the studies. So what
Yes.
did you build to get placed in an IT company?
So like being a mechanical guy, we are not coding, but like I was in my first year. Like we have an induction program arranged by our college. So there are different various clubs visit to our, like they come and they introduce their clubs, what actually is there. So I had a bit of interest in robotics. So in my first year, I went into robotics. There, when I got in with the seniors, I got to learn like how actually robotics is. So when robotics comes into picture, microcontrollers and automation, all those stuff comes into the picture. So when microcontrollers are required, simultaneously coding comes behind it. So this way I got on, like I was searching, I was Googling, seeing YouTube, all those stuffs. So awareness of the technology and like clearing all the stuffs during the placement time, that's all we need to do. Because as a mechanical student, companies also understand us. Like if you are a mechanical student, we know that you must not have been that perfect in coding or that conceptual question, but you need to show your you need to be free while flexible working for any technology. You should not feel like if you are a core, then why to go for an IT? That all thing, like being flexible is one of the key points.
So, like, which platforms did you use to master the necessary skills?
Mostly HackerRank for coding practices. Then like I was Googling, like on Google, we get some sort of previous year questions. I used to practice that sort of questions, like all the test case and all those stuff to get into its proper way. And for aptitude preparation and all those basic coding, we have a training program arranged by our college. So that is a good way that we get a platform to learn all those aptitudes and coding for a fresher like who has no knowledge about coding. Then too they are comfortable with us. They teach us from basic to the coding which are required for a company to like fulfill the criteria of the companies. Other than that, like we have previous year questions, then we have YouTube channels if we are not comfortable with the concepts which were like not cleared in the lecture or whatever training it was. I used to go on YouTube. Then there are lots of channels. So whichever channel I was fit, I was able to understand. I went through it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so my next question was like, as resume is important, so how did you build your resume?
So like resume is important, but like it's not that difficult to build a resume. Like it's just a photocopy which we have to present ourselves in front of the company. Like we get some sort of advertisement from the shops. So that is all what they do is their resume. Like they display themselves in front of ourselves. So it's our duty to represent ourselves in front of them. So like it's not a great deal to create resume, but one thing we should keep in mind is like we mention only those points on the resume that we are perfect about. But sometimes what happens is we mention lots and lots of stuffs, like whatever we have done we try to mention it, but at some point it becomes a negative impact for us. Like if you have certain sort of like 3 to 4, 5 to 6 things you have mentioned on your resume, and you can miss some sort of concepts in some sort of skills or whatever projects you have mentioned. If the interviewer catches that point and you are not able to recall the concept or whatever things you have mentioned, at that point of time it becomes a negative impact in front of interview. So that hampers our interview. So mentioning less number of points which we are perfect, like whatever be the concept or whatever be the question, I am guaranteed or I am confident about it to answer that. That is the important thing while preparing a resume. And like how I prepared was I had mentioned some sort of like those key points which I was perfect about to put myself in front of it.
Okay. We'll surely take note of that. And so, as internship also plays a vital role. So, did you do any internship and which helped you to build your resume?
Like not I didn't did a internship from a resume building point of view. What we had one of our seniors who has his own startup. He has his own startup. So I got an opportunity from him. Like he had shared some sort of forms for an internship. So I got into it. I thought like yeah, like 3D printing is one of the upcoming additive manufacturing technologies. So let's go and check, let's gather some sort of information about that technology. So that from that point of view, I went into that internship. But yes, like that made me aware about like when I got into 3D printing, I got to know how 3D printers work, how all the what are functions performed on it, what all things can be manufactured, and how all sort of things can be done. So these are the upcoming technologies. So I became aware about that, and if sort of interest if I had generated from it, it would have helped me. Like it will help me in future, but it's good to have that sort of awareness about it.
And so, as you mentioned, as like while building a resume, we should add some few points, but an important points. So, but regarding the project, so like what type of projects did you include in your resume?
So basically, when I was appearing for Accenture, at that point of time, I had not started my major project, which is to be done in our last year. So I had some sort of minor projects, like whatever, like I had participated in lots of events during my second year, robotics events. So whatever I had done there, whatever robots we made, whatever achievements we had. So I mentioned those projects as my minor projects. Like major project was not done yet. So
Okay, fine. And so next question was, as you are placed in Accenture, so I wanted to ask you how many rounds were there in the interview process?
So basically, there are 3 to 4 rounds, including interview. So the first basic round is like assessment, technical assessment, wherein we have some sort of pseudo codes, then verbal ability, then numerical ability, logical reasoning, and all, and some basic questions on which uh, like basic questions related to some sort of MS Office or some sort of softwares related questions. Then in the second round, like when these are elimination rounds, they have some sort of criteria set up in their software. So if you clear this, you are eligible for a coding round where we get two coding questions. One is bit of medium and easy level, and the second one is bit difficult. So when we like, this is also an elimination round. When we code, it has been evaluated at that system. Then if we are qualified, we get a mail of a communication test. So communication round is for Accenture. So in which they test like what is the ability of listening, like listening ability, what accents we can understand. There are different types of accents, from the British accent to the like what we speaking as English. So that things go on, like some stories being spoken by them, we have to record the same story. So this like communication test is all about how you hear, what you say, and all those things are evaluated. But the communication round is not an evaluation, like elimination round. It is comfortable, they just check our communication, I guess, what level we communication we have, or what sort of communication can help company, or what all things they evaluate, it's on them. And then at the end we have an interview round schedule. It is a technical and HR is mixed, like I had my both rounds at the same time, mixed round. So at that time, that these are all rounds.
So, as you mentioned about such rounds, so I wanted to ask you, how did you prepare for the first round?
So it is easy. Like if we focus on aptitude, coding, and communication from right from the like when we start our preparation, it is easy to clear those rounds. Like pseudocode is not that hard, what we think, but like some sort of operators are being shuffled in it. So and the most important thing is we need to have time management, because we have 90 questions and we have to complete it in 90 minutes. So we need to manage those sort of time, like time management is one of the important thing.
Yeah, the most important thing, time management. And
Yes.
the next question will be as you mentioned, there were the technical round and the HR round. So, what type of questions were asked in the technical round?
So when I went for an interview, the interviewer for the question, like I faced lots of interviews. The main and the foremost question which each student will get when he goes for an interview is, give your introduction, like introduce yourself. So that was the question. Like I mentioned all the stuffs which I had done, whatever projects I had done, whatever internship I had done, then when I started my coding, what sort of coding I know right now, all those points I mentioned. And my round, like my interview totally went on those topics, like what was your project, like project related questions, what project you did, what achievement you got, then what was your role, where did you face some sort of difficulties, how did you overcome those difficulties. These were all some sort of questions.
Okay, and as you said, it was like a mixed type of interview. Technical round as
Yes.
well as the HR round was mixed, right?
Yes. Sometimes what happens is, like when you have lots of things to say, like if like interviews don't last longer for more than 30 minutes.
So, moving further, what core subjects from mechanical are necessary for the interview?
So the like for from an interview point of view, like it is not important, I think, but when the scenario comes for core subject is when you don't have stuffs to say, like first question you get is introduce yourself, and you say like I'm from, my name is this, I'm from this, my education is completed from these all things, and that's all. Like you don't mention some sort of skills or some sort of projects. That point of time interview doesn't have, interviewer who is interviewing you has no other questions to judge you. So what he does is at that point of time he'll go to your core subjects, like if you have not done anything, you must have done your core subjects well, so you are not busy, like you have not done other skills. So at that point of time core subjects comes into picture, and some sort of subjects are like basic subjects, like SOM, thermodynamics, then fluid mechanics, and all other basic subjects. That's one.
Yeah, I can understand that. And like, what tips would you like to give to the students or to the audience who are now going for the interview?
So like tips for the students is like, see, being active and aware about the technology is most important thing that one needs to follow. If you are going to participate in a, like for a placement right now, like some of you may be in third year, you may be going for your placements right after 3 to 4 months. So what you need to plan is whatever you have done till the date, for like make those base stronger and focus on the like aptitude coding and all those part, then everything other will take care of it. But whoever is in second year or first year and is thinking of like placements in IT company or whichever company they get, whichever opportunity they have, just be flexible about thing, plan each and everything you are doing about, like be it core softwares, learning core softwares, be it coding and all those stuffs. If we plan all the things in a proper way, we can do each and everything easily. But planning all that stuff and managing everything is important thing. That's all.
Thank you so much for that. We will surely take a note of that. And
Yes.
like, did you participate in co-curricular activities? And with that question, I would like to add is, if yes, then will you please mention that?
So, like co-curricular activities from the first year of engineering, as I said, I went into, like I was interested in robotics, but I was not actually aware about what a robotics is, how it works, what all stuffs are needed. So I went into a club, like now it's Team Cipher. I think it was second time when Team Cipher was participating in that event. So when I went there, I started learning from the seniors. Foremost thing, like I was not just going participating, but I was focusing on my self development. Like I went there, I interacted with seniors. From there learning started. So I got some good seniors who were like helpful for us. They used to say like, you sit, if you are not understanding now, then do you sit, you listen to the talk what we are discussing. When you will be going in your third year or your second year, fourth year, when these concepts will be colliding with you, at that point of time, you will be able to correlate those topics, like what we were speaking at that point of time, and when that hit triggers you. So from there, like I participated in Team Cipher, which participates in like Abu Robocon, which is a international level event. So from there, when I was participating there, I got to know like there are some sort of robotics competition which are held in engineering colleges, like small sort of events. So then in my second year and with my some sort of with my colleagues, we plan to participate in those events. Like if it's an international event, one event, so why not participate in these events as well. So we made our own team. Then we started participating. We participated at IIT Bombay. We secured, like it was our second or third event. We secured second prize at IIT Bombay in their pick and place event. Then we had PCCOE Rawat, wherein we got an first and third prize in an aqua bot, wherein it is a water, like it's a boat event, right? Water sport, like that kind of thing. And then in my third year, when pandemic came, like it was second year, second sem, so everything went virtually. So I I decided to like now it's a virtual kind of thing. We cannot get that sort of experience what in think we were getting at that point of time. So I moved on like then I came across some sort of coding. So I started that time I started learning Python. Like it is the most easiest language to learn for a like new one. So I started Python, and then on like it was our third year, we got into TNP department, and currently I'm working in that department.
So it's really great knowing that you were so active from the first year itself. Also, now I would like to ask you, like, as the time management is quite important. So, how did you manage your time for academics as well as for this co-curricular activities?
So it's not that difficult to manage time. Like whatever we have is like we don't study whole day and whole night like in our engineering every day. Like we prepare for our exams 1 day or 2 day before exams, right? So I kept that point of thing in mind. I tried not to hamper like not to hamper lots of academics, but like we don't spend that much amount of time on studies. Like as a average student we don't spend that amount of time which a topper student spends on academics. So if that time is utilized in this kind of things, it will help us as well as our academics will also not be hampered.
And like uh, how these activities help you in building your personality.
So building my personality was like when you get into a certain sort of community, be it any sort of community, you start developing yourself equally to the seniors. Like when you get some sort of seniors who are performing well, who have done lots and lots of things, participated in some sort of events, represented India in some sort of events. So when you get this kind of seniors, we too internally we too feel like yes, I too want to get at that level. I too want, so that push comes within you. Like when you see a person doing good in that sort of field, you too start following him, and the community builds in a similar way. That's the key.
So, like the overall journey of RSCOE. So, I would like to ask you, like, will you please share your journey with us in RSCOE?
Like RSCOE journey in the RSCOE is bit like I never experienced this kind of journey in my like previous year when I was studying in school and colleges. But this was totally a different journey. I was not that like focused to academics till my 12th. But when I came into college, I got into, like I said, I got into good seniors. So that seniors started focus, like I started going into them, sitting with them, talking with them, discussing topics like what actually can be done, what not can be done. So like till that time when I was in engineering, like I didn't had an idea like how can I get some sort of platform to express myself or what all things. But when I started in RSCOE, like today I can say whatever thing you need to do, you just need to be focused to it and you need to be consistent in it and you have that platform at RSCOE.
Great. So, last but not the least, what message would you like to give to our audience who are now building the foundations of their engineering career?
So just like don't hamper your academics. Like that's the gate pass which will help you to sit for an interview or company. So don't hamper your academics, but don't be stick to that. Like don't become a person who will only follow the rule like 8:30 coming into college and 3:30 going home, and that's all engineering is. So that's not the thing. After 3:30 what you do will help you at your placement time or in your future, and that will be more important than like 8:30 to 3:30. That's all.
Yeah, as we started, it's like really a great journey with you, and the
Yes.
journey you are here with the RSA as well as the journey with the Accenture you are planning. So it was really great knowing you, and we are really helpful, and we will surely take some important points. Or all the important points, we'll surely take a note of it. And thank you so much, Abhishek. It was really an amazing journey with you, and thank you for devoting your time for us. and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thanks a lot for having me here.